going to talk a little bit, give a short presentation here about benefits of advertising, so on. Some of just the details that you'll need, and then I'm actually going to walk you through a couple of live ads and answer any questions that you guys may have. So everybody knows what boosting is, or maybe. If you ever have managed a page, you'll see that little button that just says boost. And then you can say, oh, boost this for $5. Well, what's it actually doing? Facebook has a wealth of data about you, more than you'd want them to know, actually, I'm sure. And you really, when you're advertising for your business, you want to make sure you're taking full advantage of that, so that you know you're getting to your customer at the right place, the right time, with the right product. So, why advertise? Back, in 2014, it was absolutely essential for all businesses to have a Facebook page. Well, back then you could get something called organic reach, or just, it would show up in people's news feeds. Oh, well, John Smith liked this, or, Jane Doe commented on this. Well, in April of 2015, that all changed, when Facebook changed their algorithm to put more influence on your friends' content that they're sharing versus the pages. So what they've essentially done is they've forced the hands of businesses to actually start advertising in order to get in front of their customers. So beyond that, the questions are, why advertise? It grows your customer base. Bottom line, it exposes your brand to whatever audience that you want. And you're able to do that through demographic targeting. And that's something that when I'm actually going through the process of creating the ad, talk a little bit more about. So there's a lot more to consider, but these are the three key things to consider when you're advertising. It's your ad objective, your content, and your budget. I know everybody's really concerned about the last one. So, your ad objective. Facebook has a variety of different kinds of ad types, beyond just promoting your page or boosting a post. They have site links where if you've got a really great professional website, you'll want to drive traffic there. Or say you're Anderson TV and you've got this great video that they've put together of touring the wastewater treatment facility. Well, you can increase your video views. You can generate leads with, this is actually a new one, form ads. So you can build your either text or email marketing base, or just, if you're say a car dealership, it's a lot easier than a cold call because they're actively searching. Grow event attendance. Say, everybody's seen a Facebook event. Well, you're able to actually advertise that event, again, using the demographics. This one is one of my favorites for people who have an actual physical retail location. It is nearby customers. What you're able to do is actually put in your address and target people who are actively within a certain radius. So, say, you have a restaurant. Well, what you're able to do is target, people within, say, 3 miles that maybe live in Indianapolis, but come in here to the great city of Anderson for work. So you're able to actually get them in so that they'll say, man, that's a great lunch special. I think I'm going to go there today. Then the next thing, this is good for, say you have a business for an online business, where you're trying to just make people aware of your product and aware of your brand or your store or whatever it may be. You're able to really create the knowledge of your company. And then another thing, the last one I'll cover here, I know this is a big slide, I hate those. You're able to remarket to web visitors. This one's a little bit more difficult, a little bit more in the advanced section, but what you're able to do is pull in and track people who have come to your website and then remarket out to those people through targeted ads. First thing I'm going to talk about here is your content. You're paying for views and it's still going to get out there, but strong content still matters. Even though you're not going to get the same organic reach that you would, content is key, because otherwise people are just going to keep on scrolling. You got to get that, got to draw the eye. The next one, play to your strengths. If you guys have, your business has great videos, or somebody who's capable of putting together a video, why not do a video ad? Or if you have a great website with tons of information, then utilize that as a tool. Draw people into your website. The next thing, this one, it's Facebook ad specs. For each different type of ad that you're going to run, whether it be promoting your page or a website link or a carousel ad, they're all going to have different specifications as far as size and the amount of text. Well, this, if you just go into Google, you might want to write this one down, and just type in Facebook ad one-sheeter. First thing you come to, it's going to have a list of every ad specification for every type of ad you're going to run. Because that's one of my biggest pet peeves is I'll see ads running, and it's got this big old graphic that's not properly sized, so I see 20% of the text, and it makes no sense. I'm just going to keep on scrolling. I'm not going to click on it. One way, I know not everybody's a graphic designer, so one of the best ways to get your graphics done is there are tons of freelance sites out there. Have you guys ever heard of Fiverr? You go in there, people say, I will do your Facebook ad for $5. And you get this for $5, or you can get this for $10, and so on. There's also sites, I think Elance is another one. Those are great resources for developing good content, even though you may not have the experience yourself. Yeah.
Did you say that you can have a Facebook ad that's a video ad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a new one.
What is Fiverr?
Fiverr. F-I-V-E-R. Fiverr. Sorry.
As in, it only costs $5.
A Fiverr. Yeah. Yeah. They've also got it's an iPhone app, and there's tons of ways to get to it. And if you guys just really do a Google search for freelance graphic design, they're going to be in the top 3 or 4. So next here, your budget. Everybody wants to know about this one. And the beauty of Facebook is it doesn't have to be expensive. It's not Google AdWords where in order to really get your audience in, you got to spend $300 a day. With Facebook, you can spend anywhere between $5 and hundreds of thousands. And it's all about who you want to reach. So, number one, where's your audience? If you're in Anderson, Indiana, and you're wanting to target people in Anderson, Indiana, well, they're probably going to be a little bit easier and cheaper to reach than, say, Carmel, Indiana, because there is a lot of competition for the views, for the impressions, just to show up. So you're going to get more, say, in Anderson, Indiana than you would in Carmel. The next one, does your audience engage easily? We've got a client, it's Abrams Bed. They make a product called the Safety Sleeper, which is a product for autistic children or children with issues wandering at night. And it's an enclosed bed system. Well, they have an advertising budget of $50 a month. And what I'm able to do is I'm able to target the entire US with an interest in autism, special needs, things like that, and I'm only paying about 10 cents per page like. With that $50, I'm constantly generating about 500 page likes a month. So, does your audience engage easily? That would be one that, definitely does. I've got another client, it's a car dealership out in Utah, and very small area. even if I go out 50 miles, I'm still only reaching a potential audience of about 15 to 20,000. And their page likes are more, in the $3 to $5 range. So it's how big is your audience? Where's your audience? Do they engage easily? And then, lastly, the ad objective. If your ad objective is a page like, well, that's probably going to be more expensive than a video view. A video view is anything over 10 seconds. So you're scrolling through, you stop. That's stop on a video for 10 seconds. That's going to cost a lot less than somebody liking your page. And again, your competition, like I talked about earlier, in Carmel, Indiana, there's probably a lot more people targeting people, or a lot more businesses that you're in direct competition with trying to advertise to that same person. Before I get into the actual Facebook ad, I just wanted to cover some the lingo with you here. Impressions. That is the number of time anybody has seen your ad. Reach. That is a unique individual. And then frequency. Frequency is like a multiplier of the reach, and that's what actually determines the overall impressions. So I've got a unique reach of 5,000 people. I've got a frequency of 2. Then that tells me I've got 10,000 overall impressions. Or that of my reach, each person has seen the ad twice. CPC, CPM, CPV. We've got CPM, cost per mil, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. CPC, cost per click. It's the amount you pay for one click. CPV, cost per view. These don't necessarily make much sense now, but you're going to see them when we go through the ad. So I just wanted to give a brief overview. And the last one is relevance. What Facebook will do on any kind of ad, it will give you a relevance score. And this is more towards once you actually see the results start coming in. But it's a 10-point scale, obviously, 10 being the best, 0 being the worst. And you're able to see how well people are responding to your ad. So if you have an ad with a 9 relevance score, you've done a great job. You've done a good job targeting. You've done a good job with creative, good job with budget. If you have something with a 3 or lower, you might want to look at your creative, might want to look at your ad type because it's not performing well. So that's the intro here. Does anybody have any questions before I get started? All right, so everybody knows this is welcome to Facebook. Everybody's seen this before. The only thing I'm going to actually assume here is that you guys have set up your billing account. Just added your credit card into Facebook. If you guys don't know how to do that, then I'll put up a link on the Element 212 page or the ADMC site where you guys can walk through that. But for the sake of time, and not entering a credit card number on a big screen here, I will just proceed. So where you begin is the Ads Manager. Now I've got that under my favorites. It's probably not going to be under everybody else's favorites. Where you can also find it is over here, and you'll see Manage Ads. That is going to be the same for everybody. So just remember, little arrow, Manage Ads. Now, unfortunately, I've got a business account, so I've got to go through things a little bit differently, but it's all going to look the same, I promise. I guess I could cover this this overview section that you see right here. This just tells me my weekly spend and my weekly impressions. So far this week I've spent $706.38. and I've gotten 150,000 total impressions.
What's an impression again?
It's just anybody, yeah, that's somebody that's seen it. All right, so the first ad I'm going to create today is for the greatest company in Anderson, Element 212. You're going to get to this screen. Again, it's going to look a little bit different, just basically along this top part where you see the business bar. But your screen's going to look the same. You're going to see a Create Campaign. It's the first thing you're going to go to. Now, here are the objectives that I was telling you about earlier. We got Boost Your Posts, which is, it's basically, you still have the demographics options, but it's essentially the same as hitting that boost button. Promote your page, website visits, conversions. That's the website conversions is a little bit more of what you were saying with being able to track the amount of time somebody spends, or if they've actually gone through the checkout process. Installs of your app, increase engagement of your app. Does anybody have an app? Okay, we won't go over those. The reach people near your business, that's the one I was telling you about where, for the restaurant they can target within a certain radius. Raise your attendance, claim your offer. Those are not used as much. And then video views. So for this one, this first ad here, I think I want to send people to the Element 212 website. So I'm just going to enter in the website here. Maybe. There we go. Click Continue. Now, right here you're going to see something called a campaign name. You're probably going to forget it your first couple of times, but if you're running multiple campaigns, multiple ads, different targeting, different demographics, you're going to want to pay attention to this because it can get very confusing very quick when you see all these different ad sets. I've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 175 different active ads right now. As you can imagine, naming, very important. So I'm going to call this ADMC October website clicks. You can get more descriptive, less descriptive. That's your call there. All right, so the first thing you see here is who do you want your ads to reach? Well, I think I want to target local businesses here in Madison County. Now, unfortunately, it'd be great if they offered the ability to enter a county, but they don't. That's okay. Gives me an opportunity to show you a little bit a detail here. So first thing I'm going to choose here, Anderson, Indiana. As you can see, it comes up with a map that shows you the area. Well, right now it's Anderson, Indiana plus 25 miles. It's going to cover a little bit more than Madison County. So I'm going to shrink that down to 10 miles. So that's roughly the width of Madison County there. But what I can also do is I can add a second city, say Elwood. And again, I can shrink it down to 10 miles. Okay, so I've got more of the county covered now. So let's see, what else can I do here? I've got a lapel. And Pendleton. Did spell that right, I hope. Pendleton. There we go. And then trying to get more of that east side there, so we'll throw in Alexandria. All right. So as you can see, I've pretty well got Madison County covered. It goes into a little bit of the surrounding area, but for all intents and purposes, it's sufficient. So the next thing here I come to is who do I want to advertise to? Do I want to advertise to anybody that lives in or is currently in Anderson? Or do I just want people who live here? I'm going to go ahead and keep it at everyone in this location. Then next, we have age. So think about your business. For Element 212, or for your business, what age range are you trying to reach? Are you trying to get millennials? Are you trying to get baby boomers? Are you trying to get Gen Xers? Who is your client? Well, for Element 212, our client tends to be someone who is mid-30s to about mid-50s. Get any younger, they tend to think that, they can do it on their own. They can do everything. By the way, I can do everything. So we got 35 to, this doesn't want to scroll here. That's okay. 55. And again, gender. If you're doing nails, if that's your ad is to do manicures, then you're probably not going to want to target men. You're probably going to want to leave that to women to get your most efficient reach. But for Element 212, we're going to stick with both men and women. Now, languages. This is something that you can use to really kind of refine. We do have some Spanish-speaking Facebook users, but if our ads aren't in Spanish, are they likely to engage? Probably not. So I always do English all. I know this just from experience. People will, I'll show you here, English, gives you the UK and US. Some people in the US for some reason put UK. No idea why, but just use all. Just trust me on that one. I'm sorry?
What about Spanish, if you want to, do you put English and Spanish?
I can do English and Spanish. So, but like I said, if your ad is in English, then you're probably going to just want to limit it to English advertising. If your ad is in Spanish, you are able to specifically target Spanish-speaking individuals. And my suggestion would be to do 2 different ads rather than the same ad. All right, we got more demographics here. Scroll down a bit here. As you can see, there are plenty. Your relationship status, education, work. You can do income. I have no idea how they know how much you make, but apparently they do. Home ownership type. I've got a client that is a home repair service, so I know that the person I want to target is a homeowner and not a renter, because the homeowner is going to have to actually pay for the maintenance. You can target, again, generation. I don't use that one as much. We've got a client that's a daycare, so I can target moms. And then it can go even further than that. I can target different mothers with children that are newborn, mothers with children that are 1 to 3, 3 to 5.
It doesn't show us that right there. How would you do that?
Once you click on it, it brings up, so like I said, big city moms, corporate moms, green moms, moms of grade school. I mean, it goes into depth. For, for political ads, you can do self-reported on donations. You can do liberal, moderate, conservative, etc. So that's the demographics here. Then we have interests. See, this was one of my favorites because you don't necessarily think about the demographics, but what you think about is you got a Tupperware business. Well, cooking is an interest. Or even Tupperware is an interest. So you can target people who have likes or have liked something relating to Tupperware specifically. So you're getting to your target audience. For Element 212, probably not Tupperware though. What happened back in the day was, you could type in your interests, you could type in your favorite movies, you could type in your favorite bands and so on. Well, what that actually evolved into was it actually created pages, and that's your interest would have then gone into that page in the form of a like. All right, so for Element 212, I'm going to do an interest in small business. And then again, I can go and define this here as business, what it's going to do here is pull up interests that are related to small business. So it's going to help you out a little bit. Are we interested in startup companies, small and medium enterprises? Yeah, sure. Entrepreneurship, that tends to be a lot of our clients is entrepreneurs, people that have started a business and just need help growing it to that next level. All right, so that gives us some demographics here, and as you can see, here on the side, can you see how well does that show up here? All right, see audience definition. Now, this gives you a little dial, and it shows you if your audience is too broad or too specific, or if it's right in the middle, it's considered well-defined. So this also shows me my details here. It shows me location, interest, age, language, and a potential reach. So right now, this ad is going to go out to a potential audience of 3,600 people. That is a very well-defined and very specific ad. 3,600 people on Facebook in this area between the ages of this that have an interest in that. That's what I said, yeah. So I know that if I'm spending $1, I'm getting to my customer. All right. They also do behaviors. An interest in cars, an interest in digital activities like gaming, anybody who's made Facebook payments, device usage. You can define whether somebody's interested in, say you have an Android app, well, you can target Android users, or they've got an iPhone, you can target iPhone users. All right, so connection type. For certain customers who you can exclude people who like your page or only do friends of people who like your page so that have you guys ever seen on Facebook, Linda Smith likes this, you might also like it. So those are generally people who are targeting you based on a friend who likes that page. So it's 7 degrees of separation or 6-3, whatever it is. All right, so here is a pretty cool feature. I've gone through all this time to create this audience, this well-defined audience. I don't want to do it again. I can save this audience. So I'm going to save this as, again, be descriptive, because you're going to create tons of them. Well, hopefully. Yeah. So Element 212, Madison County. 35 to 55, small business interest. So what's going to happen next time I go to create an ad and I want to do this or utilize this same audience, there's a little thing up here that says new audience. You can click on this little arrow. It's going to bring you up some saved audiences. And you just pick it out, does all the magic for you, saves you a ton of time. What it's doing is it's saving everything. So it's saving my location, it's saving the interest, it's saving the age, the language. So that's why I try to be specific in the description that I use when I save that. What you'd want to do is you'd want to run two separate ads there, and it's going to show you the individual results for each type of ad. So when I created, up at the top here, when I created my campaign name, just ADMC October, I could narrow that down to ADMC October moms, or so on and so forth. So I'm able to track which is performing the best, what my target demographic be. There's other things you can do if you don't understand your demographic, or say your page only has 100 likes. Well, that's not a very good sample size. So in that situation, I'd probably want to run a broad ad in my, to whatever my audience area is, to try and narrow in on who's engaging. You don't want to, if your millennials aren't engaging with your ad, just leave them out. They're useless. More ways than one. I'm a millennial, by the way. All right, so how much do I want to spend? Well, Facebook has a minimum of $1 per day. You're probably going to want to do a little bit more than that. What I usually set is I like to set a lifetime budget. So you go here, you got a start date, start 8:59 a.m., end date. I'm going to do the 29th at, we'll do 7:59 a.m. So I've got a minimum of a $7 budget, but I'm going to use, if I can get there, $25. So this is going to show you on this side over here your estimated daily reach. So I'm going to get in front of 120 to 310 people of my defined 3,600 every day. It could be the same people. And that's where, you remember when I mentioned the impressions and the reach? That's where, when you look back at your results, it'll show you the difference, how many times people saw your unique ad. But you can also do things like, you can optimize it differently. So I can actually pay for a daily unique reach so that I know people aren't seeing my ad more than once. Or I can do impressions, and it'll just show my ad nonstop to whoever's on at whatever time, no matter how many times I want. Or Facebook is very nice and does the clicks, your overall clicks to your website, and it'll optimize it for you. So it's going to serve your ad to people who are more likely to click on your link. For this one, let's see, what's my goal here? I want people to know all about Element 212. I want them to see our brand. I want to be able to go out and say, hey, I work at Element 212, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I saw that on I saw that Facebook ad. So I'm going to do impressions. So I'm just going to serve it out there to as many people as I possibly can. Now, pricing. This is where that CPM, CPC, CPV, all those acronyms comes in. With impressions, it's going to be CPM, or cost per mil, or cost per thousand. What Facebook will do is it will automatically generate a decent, an estimated dollar amount that will maximize your budget. Leave it the same, or if you want to spend more money, you can always alter it, but that's going to be the bid amount that you're paying for those 1,000 people. I have a set amount of $25 that I'm going to spend. No more, well, maybe a few cents less. But what this number is it's the bid amount within my budget to serve out my ad 1,000 times. So I may win with my $3.68, I'm buying chunks of time when my ad is going to be shown. What you're able to do also is run ads on a schedule. It's going to obviously impact your reach, but you're able to designate dates and times. Peak hours always cost the most money. I usually, unless I'm running, say, an ad for a grocery store that offers, double rewards points every Wednesday, I usually leave this alone and just let it go on a regular basis. So run ads all the time. All right, now for the creative. Facebook gives you options as to what kind of ads you're going to do here. You can do a single image, or have you guys seen the carousel ads that you scroll through? That's another option. For this presentation, I made it a little bit easier and just did a single image ad. Now, with website links, as I mentioned earlier on the content side, the image size has to be a certain dimension. In this case, it's 1200 by 628. So I've had somebody create an image for me. And it's just simple. It just says, your ad here. You guys won't have this issue as much. I've got several pages.
Does that image fall under their text guidelines?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's already been optimized. Everything is good to go.
And you wanted to mention
Yeah, your text guidelines for ads, I might have mentioned that earlier. It's 20% text is what you're limited to in any ad. So 20% of the screen can't be text, and it's not a person that does this, it's a computer. So if you have, say, we had one recently where it was a picture of a $20 bill, but it also had 20% text. Well, the computer decided that that $20 bill contained additional text. So it can be a little frustrating. All right, so over here we see the preview. This is how your ad is going to display both on the desktop or the mobile newsfeed or a right column ad or in the audience network. The audience network shows up on things like third-party apps and games. So have you ever been playing a Facebook game and saw an ad pop up? There you go. That's what that is. For certain applications, it's worthwhile. For this one, I'm probably just going to take it off, so that I'm just showing to people on the desktop, on their mobile phone, and in the right column. I'm going to go here, and we are able to edit the text of the ad, this part right here, and just something catchy. I'm going to say, attract new customers, advertise today. And it's going to pop up here. You're also able to change the link name say learn about Facebook ads. Now, we can also add a call to action button, and we got several choices. Shop now, learn now. It's all going to depend on what your overall objective is. For this one, I'm just going to say contact us. See, what this is doing is it's directing people to my website. So if you have a website, I'm assuming you do, that lists the location, a specific page that lists the locations, then that's the page you're going to want to advertise. And then, I would just say, probably shop now would be a good one. For this situation, though, contact us. So, oh my goodness, we are done at the end of this ad. Can you believe it? The end, place order. This pops up, and it says your order has been placed. Success, we hope. Because what it does is it actually goes through a review process to look at things like, is it more than 20% text? If it is, you'll get a notification that says your ad wasn't approved. Here's why. Go in, make the changes, they review it again. Usually, there's no set amount of time it takes. It can take between 5 minutes and 5 hours. Here I can see, when I go to my home screen, I can see my ad. And look at that. It's already active, so it was already approved. That was actually really fast. I'm surprised. All right. This is going to be your overall results page. It's going to show you things like reach. You can change to look at different kind of statistics, like your frequency, your cost per mil, your impressions, so on and so forth. You're able to see how many people liked it, how many people clicked on it. You name it. It's pretty much an option. I can show you just some of the overall columns you can select here. For engagement, you can see how many likes, how many comments, how many shares, how many views, how many mentions, how many, so on and so forth. The way you can analyze this data is endless. That's actually something that I will be doing next week. I'm going to do a webinar for you guys. And I'm going to go through the results at the end of our week-long time frame to kind of explain what everything means, because I can show it to you right now, but until I actually have numbers and data in there, it's not going to make any sense. I'd recommend you guys actually, go home and set one up yourself. You can see it's inexpensive. Like I said, as little as $1 a day. If you guys have any kind of questions, anything like that, you guys can go to the ADMC page on Facebook. You can go to the Element 212 page on Facebook. Ask away. I'll be a resource if you guys, run into a so-called brick wall there and can't get any further.